There's only 2 books I've rated 1 star. I know these are popular, but they just didn't work for me. Not my cup of tea. The books are The Alchemist and The Midnight Library. We'll dive into The Alchemist first. Now, if you don't know what this is about, it's about this shepherd who is dreaming of a treasure. He dreams of this treasure, and then he sets off on a journey to find the treasure that he dreams about. So he does that. He meets some characters along the way. He meets this guy who says, you know, you have this personal legend, follow it, which that just means your destiny. So he does, he follows it, he goes through the desert, and then he finds what he's looking for. But it's done in a way that I found very boring, very just not insightful at all. It's like this whole thing could be boiled down to just follow your dreams. Like all these pages is just a roundabout way to say follow your dreams. And we're looking at about, 177 or so pages just detailing to follow your dreams. I mean, it's not a book I would recommend for people to read for precisely that reason. It's follow your dreams. There you go. You've read the book, right? It's to me, it's a waste of paper, right? Which is harsh, but I just couldn't do it. There's no depth to the story. It's this insightful nonsense trying to disguise itself as depth. It just doesn't work. And then what I thought was also quite stupid, I'm going to spoil the book a little bit here. I mean, I don't recommend you read it anyways, but I'm going to spoil the ending. So if you don't want to hear that, skip ahead a little bit, probably put a timestamp of where you could skip to, but I'm going to spoil the ending. He goes off, he finds this treasure, he follows the dream, and then he's told that the treasure that he was looking for is actually back home. So he never had to leave. What he wanted was already back where he was. And so I'm like, that's just the dumbest thing ever as well. I just couldn't, I don't enjoy this book. It's not good. And so that's The Alchemist. Don't read it. Or do, and you can suffer like I did. And next we got The Midnight Library. Now, going into this, I loved the idea. I did also love the beginning aspects of the book. I was like, this book might be good, right? Going into it, I was like, this has the means to be a very, very good book. So I read it, and it progressively gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse until I'm like, this is 1 star. This just doesn't work. Now, the premise of The Midnight Library is you have this girl this woman, sorry, I think she's in her 30s, who is depressed, and then she ends her life. And then she's reawakened in this library between worlds. And in this library, she's able to go and grab books, and each book is a story about how her life could have panned out had she made a different decision. And so that concept right there is so cool. I loved the concept. The execution just did not, the execution wasn't there. They had the author, I forget her name, I'll maybe look it up. I sadly don't have the book on hand, as I donated the book, I read it, was like, this is not something I want on my shelf, donated it. This author had this awesome concept, and I feel like the way that they sort of did the story, it fell flat. But I love the concept of, bookshelf, afterlife, revisiting certain paths you could have taken, what sort of life you could have lived. I mean, that was exceptionally cool. I just think the message of the story falls very flat, and I think that the book, definitely the second half, was so absurdly rushed, it felt, and I think the rushing of it really sent home 1 star. For me anyways. And then some other things is it simply felt like the messages of the story were kind of being fed to you rather than something that's supposed to be like an aha sort of through the stories, which that's a critique of mine. But yeah, it had all the ingredients to just be a very good book. The concept was there. I love the concept. I just wish it was executed better, and I wish the message was more subtle, not so in your face near the second half of the book. I think the first half of the book I actually enjoyed a lot. I think that would be 3 stars, which is your average book, right? And then the second half, in my perspective, or in my opinion, derailed the entire sort of story there and brought it down to 1 star for me. So yeah, those are the 2 books I've given 1 star. If you feel the same way about these books, let me know in the comments. Or if you disagree completely with my perspective on these books, let me know as well. And again, these are my opinions. You don't have to lose it on me for having my opinion here about these books. But anyways, if you liked the video, subscribe, like button. There'll be more videos coming, probably every Sunday.